hello, my sweet. So won't you come with me? There's oh so much to show in this grim dark distillery. So if you like bullshit or want some hobby tips, this nightmare priest nigh unbinary rolled by Vincent welcomes you. Hello, my sweets. Hi, Possum. I'm pretty excited. Got the second commission done, and now I'm on to number 3. Gonna make a communicant, my first dabble in Trench Crusade. I'm really excited. We got Greeblin and Grebo going hard. Over here printing out more stuff for the Fall of Rothenburg. I've made another little Lazy Susan board. And I've got a whole bunch of the castle printed out, so I'm feeling good about it. I'm gonna work on some grief. Let's go. I'm a little thirsty, so I'm gonna go drink real quick. But today I'm gonna be putting in some teeth. Also, I got my new hand vise in, which I'm really excited about. Gonna have to do some putting it through its paces. I came up with a whole lot of really fun ads for Display that I don't know if they would like. So I'm not gonna just start doing them. Maybe I might. I feel like that's not good though. People will like it. I know how to market your products. Alrighty. Gloves. Yeah, gloves. Gloves. Yeah, we're gonna need gloves. Well, first, I'm gonna put some teeth in here. First, I'm gonna put some teeth, then gloves. I am kinda sleepy today, truth be told. I'm pretty sure also this is one of the teeth that was part of my outdoor gerblin that I used to scare birds away. So that's fun. If you're like, oh man, these birds keep making nests on my porch. Well, just make an outdoor gerblin. Good morning, gardener. If you make an outdoor gerblin with good eyes and good teeth, birds don't like that. And you put it up near where they keep messing around, and they're like, yeah, I don't want to mess with that gerblin thing. I'm just gonna go do what I was doing. I think I made a lasting impression because they haven't been back since, and the gerblin is gone. And if you're needing more details, I made my gerblin out of a sock with a bunch of fake teeth used in taxidermy and taxidermy eyes and Barbie hair, and it just kind of looked like this. And that did the trick. Birds did not like that. They didn't want to go anywhere near it. They were like, I'm not raising a family next to whatever that thing is. And you know, good on them. So that's that, as they say. Yeah, it's gonna have some teeth coming out of there, and hair, and eyes. So everywhere grief steps, he just gives birth to more things. So really gotta lay that out. Hi, friends. My boys. Oh, you know I love you, even with your feathers. Even with your feathers. Man, I hope Roddy Piper has not like done shitty things. I don't want to not like him. Let me rephrase that. Monstrous things. That's probably a better way to put it. Seems like every day though you just find out more people have. Just great. Just not good at all. Oh, great. Alrighty, got some teeth glued. That's a good spot to work from. They're creepy. Alrighty. Epoxy sculpt. Let's finish these fingies. Also, hey, I got an idea. Today we're going to do the thing that I said I probably should have done yesterday. We're going to put super glue on these. That way I have something other than metal wire to build off of, which is something I would really recommend if you're doing a lot of wire work and putting clay around it, just to get it any kind of surface to grip that's not very, very smooth metal. We have fake owls for the same thing at work. We also have a calculator to figure out how many fake owls you need for the square footage of your yard. That's so good. Man, I need to get into that game. I need to, like, okay, this is how many backdoor, like, goblins, greeblins, gerblins you need to scare away the birds when an owl doesn't work. I'm trying to think of, I think it's Kelly's grandma has a picture of an owl hung up outside the door because of one of her, like, glass doors. There's these little birds. She has a whole lot of bird feeders, but these little birds that just, they really want to come in the house with the window, like, still closed, so they just, like, fly and smack up against it. So she printed out a picture of an owl and taped it to the window, and it did solve the problem. They do not want to run right at an owl, turns out, which I get. Owls are pretty scary. Speaking of owls, I'm really excited that I finally get to tap into this box. Bones. These are from an owl pellet. I've been waiting for something the right size to use them on for a very long time. And they absolutely are going to be used, especially the teeth, in in the communicant that I'm getting ready to start working on today. Man, these are horrible little teeth, and they're going to look really horrible coming out of its mouth. I've thought of a really fun design, and I'm really excited about it. For those of you who do not know, a communicant, almost knocked my water off. A communicant is a member of the Trench Pilgrim faction that has consumed the flesh, or made communion, if you will, with a Metachrist, which is a quote-unquote theorized clone of Jesus. So yeah, what could go wrong? I'm really excited to work on it. It's going to be really gnarly. Yeah, I'm also just really excited to work with this little vise. I think it's going to be really good. It's going to be a game changer. It's also very nice construction. I was very pleased. And as always, the packaging was wonderful. I like Display a lot. They make good stuff. And the moment that they're like, yeah, go ahead, make anything promoting our stuff, I might get a cease and desist. They're like, I don't know if we want you to promote it on hindsight. But probably not. They'll probably be like, well, thanks for sending people our way. You're a weirdo, though. We'll say that. And they're right. I kind of want to get rid of that, like, weird ball shape there, so I'm going to do that first. And then I'll move on to fingies. Hopefully everyone's having a good morning. Possum, I'm sorry it's really hot where you are. It actually feels really nice for the first time in a long time here. We had like a cold front, I suppose, come in. Use RedWet10 for 10% off. I don't know. I don't. So they have a membership thing, which the way that works, I've reached out to them about like sponsoring their stuff, and they have not responded to me yet. But I'm really on the fence of it's just like, do you just start making stuff, like promoting their stuff, and then like see where it goes? Because I feel like they would notice that more than an email. But I don't know if they really want my take on how to market things. I don't know if people want that. Now, I know consumers do, because it's just like, I know if I saw certain things, I'd be like, I'm listening. But I don't want to get a cease and desist from a company I really like. So that's the reason I'm not. But yeah, they do have a membership thing where if you refer people, it gets you like points or whatever, which builds up to discounts. But everyone there gets a 10% off. So it's just like, if anything, 10% off is just fucking rad. So I would like that personally. So I might do that and just put a link in the Discord. It's like a self set up almost kind of sponsorship kind of thing that they've got. It's like, yeah, get a discount for recommending other people. When they use your recommendation, they get a discount. That's pretty. Didn't mean to smack your feet there, Grief. Alrighty. Use RedWet10 for 10% off. See, that's the thing, is I really don't want to ever come off like, I guess, most influencers. There's just something that like is off-putting about that to me. Puts a bad taste in my mouth. I think mainly because it's just like most people that I see that are like really toting stuff, or not toting, but trying to sell stuff. It's just like, I don't know if I know they know enough about what they're talking about, or if they are not just doing it for money. And it's just like, I cannot stress enough. There's not enough money that a brand could pay me to recommend their tools to you all. If I don't like them, or if I don't think that they are good. Like, I don't know. I don't want, you should do that. If they see a lot of people purchasing through that, they may notice you. Yeah, I'm thinking that might be a good idea. And again, I'm not just trying to be like, hey guys, go buy Display, because I like them. I really mean, I have fucked around with this stuff for decades, and they are the only company that I would put my name on. Like, I don't think that there is I have not gotten anything yet. I know that they have got things on their website, and I've seen things elsewhere that got like reviews saying, oh, hey, you know, I think that the quality on this was cheaper. And it's just like, yeah, well, that thing's like a very cheap tool, and that's the economy version of the tool. They made that so it would be cheaper than the one that has like anodized stainless steel. Like, for what they provide, though, there's no comparison. At least in every tool that I've purchased, and it's my opinion comes from the engineering side of it. It's very clear that they have people who care about the tools that we use in our hobby, and they understand them. That's the biggest thing. Like, it's very clear when you have somebody, you can just pretty much look. There's so many Kickstarters out there for people like that are just like trying to take advantage of the community, making shit that we don't fucking need, but they try to like pitch it with like a fake problem. And I hate that shit. It's like one of the most disgusting things to me. Which is, yeah, that's it. Like, I don't want anyone that ever watches anything that I make to ever think that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm trying to sell them something. If I'm recommending something, it's because I find value in it. And I want people to be able to trust my word. And I think transparency is the easiest way to do that. And that's, yeah, just being transparent. I am not affiliated with them. I love their tools, and I think that they are the best bang for your buck. I cannot say for certain about the knives and other things that I have not purchased yet, but they are on my list of things to purchase. However, given the amount of care that goes into everything else, and knowing for a fact that they could have charged me more for this than they did, and seeing how quality the precision, like the machining is, I don't think that they would just only do that for some of their products, because their name's on the line too. Like it's just it's a big difference. And there's a lot of other brands out there that really do solely make you pay for a name that they put on their stuff. Um, but yeah, just that's my tangent. For a few dollars more than something that doesn't have any brand name associated to it, you could have one of the tools that I think really is like a top tier that you're going to find in our hobby. Made with love, or at least it gives me that impression. Big fan. Anyway, putting some clay on some fingies. That's what we're doing right now. Boop, 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 boop. Alrighty. Well, I need to put some Nivea on this guy because it's sticking to it. It's sticking to it hard. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Mm-hmm. So yeah, okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this out here. I'm gonna get your guys' feedback on this. If you saw someone pitching a product and the tagline that they were putting to it was, "I've never been more excited about 5 1/8 inches in my life," and then it just right at that, would you be like, "All right, I'll check it out," or would you be like, "I don't like that. I don't think I'm going to give that company my money"? I feel like Dispay might not like that, but I feel like other people will find that very funny and they'll be like, "All right, let me take a look." I think it's great. Dongers. I feel like that's it. Like no one else is. I'll pitch it. I'll pitch it to the people. I feel like it's just me test running how I'm going to get my cease and desist. Oh, it could go either way. Maybe they'll really like that. I mean what I said though. I mean I love this thing. I'm so excited, and I haven't even gotten to fucking use it yet. But I'm so pumped to not have my bits fly all over my studio and my shop anymore. It's also got a little magnetic base. This guy. So you put a little magnet sticker on there, and you can work on it while it's on there instead of having to hold it. I'm just so excited about it. What do you think, Grief? Grief loves it. Speed run to lawsuit. Yeah. So okay. So maybe don't do that. I talked with my legal advice, Possum. He said that's probably a bad call. So we'll reach out to our marketing team and see if they can stop what we've already put in motion. Man, I got to tell you, I was definitely sad when I found out that Justin Roiland was a piece of shit, because the videos that he made, the Cosbys that he got a cease and desist from Bill Cosby were what a way to troll somebody. But yeah, fuck that guy. I will give credit where credit is due, though. It's the funniest way to handle a cease and desist. Man, I put all that super glue on there. Do it, you coward. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably still going to. As your legal consult, do it, you coward. That's it. You don't get anywhere by playing it safe, which is why, I mean, I tried to salvage it like 10 to 15 times while Sam and I were like trying to record the first episode of Asking Strangers if They're Ticklish, but I got really hung up on on the statement that I made that uh, the first step in successfully achieving a business plan is jumping the shark tank. Good morning, Shankly. Yeah, the first step in any successful business endeavor is jumping the shark tank, and I really thought I had something with that. Um, but the more that Sam unraveled that it was based on a fabricated memory of an episode of Happy Days that does not exist. It doesn't exist. Like I made up the plot of an episode uh, and drastically altered it, and that's how I remembered it. So yeah, my jumping the shark tank does not really work, and it doesn't work in this either, or it might. Love my Commodore Freak. Hell yeah. No, I'm so glad. I went overboard a little bit on it, and I lost track of time, and I kept wanting to go back. That's the hardest part. Is like I just keep wanting to go back and add more stuff. Um, but when I got to the head, I was like, yeah, I'll sculpt this whole head, and I was like, you don't have time to sculpt the head, dude. So the head that I went with, I was really pleased with, and then I put I'd already put some green stuff on there to start sculpting skin, and I was like, it would make way more sense if he was just really burned. So that's where that kind of turned in. That he's just got a lot of burns all over his face. Arg. I gotta say, the chainsaw blade was fun in a frustrating way. It's just like I definitely learned some things from it. Um, so I will be doing that again for sure. But now I definitely know how to go about doing making a blade like that a little bit better, which I'll show. I'll show that just for reference, so everyone can see what we're talking about. Uh, yeah. So this guy, his chainsaw blade has really gnarly teeth on it that I made out of brass because I wanted them to be the right thickness. That's just, it's the same thing as like with swords and stuff. I really like them to be an appropriate thickness so they don't look wrong. But yeah, and I made that through a very tedious method of cutting brass sheet, which it's the same one that I use for like pauldrons and stuff. Like it's durable. It'll get you. But then pretty much cutting a whole bunch of slips, bending them, butterflying them in alternating methods, and then I went in after that and I cut the tips in alternating patterns because that's how a chainsaw teeth are made, and then gave them a slight little curl, just a slight one. But I really enjoyed doing it. I love like obscenely meticulous detail stuff. It's very fun. I don't know why. I don't know what. Well, I'm gonna say I know what's wrong with my brain, but that's the outcome. Beep beep beep. Which I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna be disparaging to myself. Mm-hmm. Okay, I know. My phone's just over here like, hey, your bill's ready for blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I know. You don't need to text me. You already emailed me. thing is, if you turn the notifications off, then they're just like, oh, hey, by the way, we're raising your bill like $25 a month because we know you don't care. You don't talk to us. It's just like Xfinity. That's not what I fucking said. Am I right? Grown-up problems. Am I right? I gotta tell you though, that's definitely a key part of the business model, is having the most frustrating customer service so people just don't call. Like that's intentional. Cannot stress enough. Which is why I don't even have a number you can call. But maybe I should. Ooh, you're a grown-up? Ugh. Ugh. I pretend like it sometimes. But only sometimes, don't worry. Most of the time. Most of the time, I'm just doing my best, you know what I mean? Just trying to get through the day. Everybody around you might just be all about saying dumb stuff all the time. And you just gotta be like, man, it's hard to not think about how dumb everyone is. But you just gotta keep going, my sweets. Other people out there are trying to make the world better too. So, and that is my little bit of inspiration today. Fingers are definitely not the most fun part to work on grief right now, but they need to be done. They got to get done sometime, or so they say. Everybody's gotta have creepy fingers. If you don't know if you've got them, you probably do. They're just inside. Gotta run. Bye, everyone. Bye, Shankly. I'm glad you like the model. Also, I'm glad you like grief, too. Grief, 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 grief. Yeah, I was very, very... I was pleased with how the Call to a Peace came out. I definitely... It's just the perfectionist in me is just like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. It's just like, hold back. You gotta hold back. So they end up just spending so much time on it. And then your wife's just like, I thought you were done. It looks great. And I was like, but what if this was different? That's just how it goes. That's something I've got to learn how to deal with. As far as doing commissions. Okay. I keep forgetting about that Gauge sticker. I look up and it just looks me right in the face. And I gotta say, there is something fun about that. I'm just like, what do you think, Gauge? Yeah. I think it's got pretty good fingies too. Yeah, I think I will go mess around and get one of those codes. Start making just promotional stuff for Dispay and see if they like it. plays on. Fingies are go. Alrighty. Beep, beep, beep. Boop, boop, boop. Whap. Grief, 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 grief. Probably the piggies next. Do some little piggies. Oh, nope, there's a spot right there I didn't get. Not done. Thought I was done. Well, are there any topics anyone would like to discuss? Otherwise, I can just keep rambling. I don't have anything too much more intense to talk about. Well, I mean, I do, but who knows? I always like the topic to yap. And I have thought more and more about the topic brought up by Possum yesterday, and I do think yeah, I know that's not a really good answer of how to get people to get more out of narrative gaming, but I really do think that the more that you put into it, the easier everything else flows, as far as defining the characters and who they are. Yeah, and I think that's just really the difference between a character and a model. Is a character is unique, like they have something that they want, they have something that they are driven by, and it makes it easier by giving them, knowing more about who they are in your head. It just makes it so much easier to piece together who they would do in your games and why they would do it and how they would react to situations. And that definitely makes things less just about killing each other's dudes all the time. But I do think that it's very much in the same sense of role-playing games. There's definitely the more in your head that it's a character, the more the character is. It's like self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing. But yeah, I was thinking more about that yesterday and discussing it with Kelly. And we were talking about how that's very much with horror movies. Like, it's the most important thing to making a good horror movie. Which a lot of the stories that we tell in this hobby are horror stories, or at least mine are. So yeah, having characters that are believable in their world just does so much for making the story naturally flow. But it is more work for players, for certain. But if they don't believe it's a character, then how will anyone else? And how will you, become emotionally invested or have pretty much the more emotion that you've got put into it, the more emotion that you're going to get out because of outcomes of games and stuff like that. Which is why it's very much why it's just like asking strangers if they're ticklish. Like, it's essentially especially with a new group, you're asking someone, hey, how comfortable are you with like using your imagination like around me, like fully unjudged, and telling a story together, because that's so much of it is like in our hobby, in our community, giving a shit what other people think and like not wanting to be, put down for it or anything like that. That's very prevalent, as with most communities. So it's just like asking strangers if they're ticklish. It's just like it's going to be an uncomfortable conversation. And I don't recommend you ask all your players if they're ticklish. Spoiler alert, they are. I already know. I'm just kidding. That's another joke I reached really hard into, and I was just like, we got to pull back on that one. I don't know if anyone is ticklish, and no, I don't want to find out. Don't tickle me if you meet me. Yes, very much. Do you think that coming to the players with an idea or story prompt for the game day would encourage players to make that step, like the prompt for Mysterium being about differing imperial cults existing on the same planet, etc.? Yes, very much. Yeah, I think I do. I think if you give them a overarching story and you build a setting, if you build a setting to where it feels like people could live, it will make people make characters in their head. At least that's it does to me. Like the more that a setting is like, yep, I get it. This is my jam. I can play around in this space. The more that you do that, it just yeah, I think it naturally gets those juices flowing, gets people thinking about creating and stuff. And I can't stress enough. I mean, luckily we're all we're in a very creative hobby, so it's just that's a different. And I've for me, it's not. It's like all the same. Like, but that's because I've used my love of miniatures as like my coping mechanism, and it's where I've done like my self-expression. Like that's I it's one of my preferred methods of making art, because I feel like I truly know what I'm doing enough to convey what I'm wanting to show. Um, so for me, it's like there's always been so much of the who and the why in what I make, because that's what I'm trying to get out. It's easier to explain things that I'm thinking or feeling with my hands and making stuff like this than it is with my words a lot. And half the time, I don't even fully understand what I'm trying to say, and then it's just like, oh, grief is a prime example. I started working on grief, and I wasn't until the other day that I had like a pretty heavy breakdown. Just really kind of coming to terms with like why this thing is in my subconscious, why it looks the way it does, why I want to make it, why I need to make it, and why I have not made it in so long. Because it was absolutely pivotal. It's the other half of the child inverted. So it's stuff like that is what I'm trying to say is the more that you can get your players to live in that madness-inducing realm of thinking about fake realities, the easier it is. So if you give them a really well thought out place that seems like they could see, they can't help but see something living in it. I think that really does a lot of work for you, and that's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. It is hard building worlds that feel real enough that other people want to like imagine things to live in that world, and then go that step further, because there's a difference between like, oh yeah, I can see what he looks like in my mind's eye, but like I know who that character is, I know what he wants. I mean, I know his his ins and outs of who he is, but I don't know. There's just different characters. It's just like once you build up who they are, how they are, you kind of know how they eat, whether they eat with their mouth closed or whatnot, or if they don't even care, or if hey, what's their favorite color? Do they even have a favorite color? Like that kind of stuff. And that's not key to defining a character for a game. But the more that you can think of and like know, like in your head about them, just the realer that you can make characters. Yeah, that's it. I'm just kind of not to circle jerk, but that's just the summary. And just to specify, the eat with their mouth open is I don't remember who said it, but we were talking about pariahs, untouchables in 40K while we were playing Dark Heresy, and it was like Frauka is one of the best things that I think Abnett has done with the Eisenhorn series is make it understandable how untouchables are and who they are. And I think Frauka is just one of my favorites, just because he's just like, yep, everybody doesn't like being around me, so he just does whatever and does not give a shit. And it's just such an interesting character, and it's just like, yeah, he's the kind of guy that like absolutely would chew with his mouth open intentionally, because he knows that you don't like him out the gate. It's stuff like that. It just makes, yeah. And also having them being consistent, that's such a very key part, I guess. And that's why I'm always just like, God, I don't ever want to re-roll dice or refumble things, but it's just like if I know deep down what a character would do, it's just like I definitely want to do that regardless of the actions or the consequences. Okay, so we got those done. Maybe time for some piggies. I'm gonna put this in the freezer so it doesn't get cold right quick. So it doesn't get cold. That's not what I meant. I'm gonna put this in the freezer so it gets cold. I'm also gonna put on my shorts because it is hot. No, I'm not. They're not even down here. Shit. Now I'm yawning and everything. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go grab some shorts, put them on. I'm trying not to clip that magnet. Sorry, guys. Be careful. Did it again. Where's that damn bag? Where's the damn bag at? Where's the damn baguettes? Here's one. All right. What? No, Lindsay. How many times we got to go over this? No, I want to be an actor. Love a good little Tobias Finke. And that popped in my head because I was thinking, now we get to do some foot stuff. And then I instantly thought, that's not what I mean. Snip, snip. No more flat feet for the grief. Let's put these piggies together. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little more off that one. We're gonna have to pin that. I'm gonna take these gloves off because my hands are a little slick. Oh man, I forgot I spilled clock parts all over my desk earlier. Piss. Man. I knew there was something. I was like, man, something happened and it really sucked. And I'm gonna have to deal with that. And it's on my desk, but my desk has got a whole lot of stuff on it right now. So what was it? It was this. This is the thing that sucked. Also, hoo boy, that little drill that I put in my finger the other day definitely did not feel good, and it was pretty much aching all day yesterday. And it went from being like a little blister almost to a blood blister. So that's. But yeah, pretty much we were playing Ship of Fools yesterday, which I really enjoyed. That's what Kelly and I have been rocking with lately. I enjoy it. I would recommend it if you're looking for a fun couch co-op. I'm sure that there are many others on PC out there that I'm not aware of, but for console, I've had a lot of fun with it. I still am I wish that Diablo 4 was more like Diablo 3. I'm sure I don't know if I'm in the minority or if I'm in the vast majority. I haven't talked to anybody about that in a long time, but Kelly and I put many hours into Diablo 3. We both really loved it. That's actually where my handle comes from, is a RedWetSkeleton. As in when you hit somebody so hard that they turn into a red wet skeleton. Which I think is what happened whenever you would crit them. Like whenever you would crit an enemy, which flat feet. You got flat feet. Grief. Good thing you walk on your hands. Yeah. All right, pinning. Got to put some pins in this boy. There they are. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to see if I can get people to start adding story prompts to the game days and see if maybe that pushes things more narrative. I think that's the easiest way to. I was going to ask what game is this for? What system? Um, because others are more, you know, some are. It's easier to do that too naturally. I think skirmish games are way more typically applicable to that, but I also am very firm that you can do it with things up to 30k, you know, epic, imperialis, like characters are still characters. It's just the more that you take away from the game and make it storytelling and just not just a game, the easier that is to naturally happen. Oh boy, that was almost bad. There, maybe. Aha! Mordheim primarily, but oh, yeah, both of those just scream for characters to be made. I know the Glumdark, that book. There's so many like, as far as building off of like giving your characters a little more backstory and stuff like that. And also, that's another thing is if you put forth the initiative to start doing that, other people typically like will flock to that. They just need someone to show them how. But it's a big ask of a lot of people because that's just everybody thinks and works different. So I know that it definitely was a thing. And also a lot of people, which is so strange to me, I don't understand. The moment that you put role play into a sentence, they're like, "Ah, oh, nah, I'm not into that." And it's just like, a minute ago, you were walking around pretending to hit things with an invisible chainsword and yelling things in this game store for everyone to hear that are quotes from this world that we're playing in. I have bad news for you, my friend. That's role playing. So for some reason, I think a lot of people don't want to take that step into being extra nerdy, which I find it's sad just because it's like you get so much more out of it yeah, I narrative gaming is my favorite kind of gaming because I walk away with a story every time. Something will happen that that's the, you know, forever GM in me. You can plan all the things you want, but the players are going to do what they do because if they are playing characters, they are people. They are living things, and you cannot predict what their outcomes and their choices are going to be. You can have options there for choices, but they are going to get thrown out the window very quickly. And it's just the more that you know the story, you know the world, you know the consequences of whatever actions and how it would impact things, the easier it is to just flow with that. And that was definitely I think that's it's I don't want to say freestyle, but that's being able to freestyle GMing is what defines a good GM, in my opinion. Anytime that I've been told, man, I had so much fun. I had so much fun with this. You know, you're a great GM. I would like to learn more. I would like to know how to do this. It's that. It's if the world is real enough in your head, then you already know what happens when people do things. And that is why, full disclosure, the biggest thing is I'm still in the process of working on the book Wretched. So I know the things that I want to have happen. But trying to, on the fly, decipher when it would be time to use rules that I'm still writing is very difficult. And I know that, like, just doing solitary defilement alone without anything that I'm wanting to put in would be an easier way to do that. But I've already done that so much that it's just not that. But I've already done so much Merkborgen. They're in here. Aha. Here and here. I've already done so much Merkborgen that I think it's just I want to make as well. and that's a hard thing as well, is trying to showcase things. Because that's a whole nother thing, is that people want to see solo board play. Um, and that it's just, yeah, it is hard to gather around, because as a GM, you will become like, there's so many like times that I sat down at the table, and some of the best sessions, like, they had no prep, because we knew where we left off, and I knew the world like at such a level that I know what anything that they could throw at me would do, and what kind of issues or complications it would cause. And that's when my brain just firing all cylinders, able to really stay in the immersion. And I think so much of that is also the fewer pages that your group has to flip through to understand I'm slowly sinking. The fewer pages that they need to flip through to understand that I'm slowly sinking the entire time we've been playing the game, because I've rigged up this crazy device in my house that like slowly lowers me. Yeah, okay, but I think people even have backstory and lore, but no one ever talks about it. There's no narrative scenarios, just roll up from the book and hit each other in the face. Yeah, and that is definitely about where I was with our 30K group, outside of my buddy Ed, which Ed was a role player first and foremost. He is another one of the blessed individuals that I've had the fortune to meet, that is just plagued by things being blasted into their head, that they're like, man, I can see that so real that it feels like I am there. And I truly love playing games with him because of that. It was just, it's the same vibe that I got at my game of Sunrot, and any time that you get with people that just live in that creative world, it's so magical, because it just pours out. It just pours out. Story happens, and man, yeah, the Vistarian event was so good. Like, I can't pretty much the climax of it, trying to decide how the battle took place. I mean, that took a good chunk of time, because we were like a bunch of GMs in the room just figuring out, like, how the hell do we even resolve this? Like, what can we do that would be a good enough form of gameplay to show everybody the outcome, and still have fate have a hand in it, but also a lot of player like autonomy. And Shane, I believe, is the one that pitched the tarot, drawing the tarot cards, and that it hit me like a ton of bricks for like is how symbolic it was for all the demons. And then like I did an actual tarot reading from my tarot deck, to actually see, using the same methods that I did for showing what, like, the portents of what's coming. And yeah, it was overwhelming how in line the story makes it, because it just all felt so real. There was so much care and thought put into, on from everybody's side. And that's really narrative gaming at its best, is when everybody is so invested, that they care about the story, they care about the next thing, because they want the story to keep going. But yeah, that's pretty much the group that I was with outside of my buddy Ed. I gave them the tools, but I did not explain how to use the tools I gave them. And that is on me, I feel like, to some extent, because as I am just constantly reminded, everybody is different, and answering questions that should help you feel out in your head who these characters are. Oh no, you lost a toe. Good grief. Okay. Pushing that nail on down. Down on them grief feet, baby. Put a little more super glue on there, because we want that piggy. Get that piggy back on there. Girl, we ain't got time to be losing piggies. All right, there you go. Now you're ready to crawl to the ball. That is awful. Mm-hmm. Grief, 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 grief. Grief. Yeah, I'm happy with those. But yeah, the backstories are definitely important, and just it is definitely hard to place tangible story in scenarios if they're just rolled for, as far as how to fix that and how to add more impetus to engage in story roleplay. I think, yeah, I hate that it is so much of it is on the players and on the GM, but it's that it's really it's collaborative storytelling, and that's everyone needs to believe that these are characters and that they live and die, and that's a big part, I think, of the kind of gaming that I love, where it's just like, yeah, if a character dies in that campaign that was like part of our story, he's gone. And I can't stress, like, that is, a character can't be alive if it can't die. And I mean that as blunt and also as like symbolically as I can. But yeah, your characters cannot die if they were never alive. And when Grox died, I mean, people cried in our group when Grox died in our campaign, because they love that character. I love that character. And he died in such a unceremonious way, like that he was just nothing in the world of the 41st millennium, because he is. And that is the story of that I try to convey, is the sheer horror in losing identity of self, and that's always been my favorite part about, I think, 40K, is it truly is like a glimpse of like post cyberpunk in my head. I personally wanted to go a lot further, but it set a tone that like I really enjoyed to play in, of fuck around and find out, and we end up here where religion and science are mixed. They are completely inseparable. We don't know what is fact. We don't know what is faith. And that is horrifying on a level. As someone that just needs logic to get through the day a lot, that's deeply horrifying. I can't think of anything more horrifying than that, than not knowing fact from fiction, and not having the tools to find out. Like, and then you throw in everything else, but it's just like, at the end of the day, life itself is just one of the most horrifying parts of, I think, the 41st millennium and that IP. And I don't think that it is ever really truly done justice to just how nightmarish it is, outside of books like the Inquisitor series, things that focus on people. And I think, yeah, it's one thing to be like, okay, I know that, this guy is this person, he works for this person, but that doesn't tell you who they are or who they were. Like, and the more that you put that in, I think it just pours out. Because if everyone is just playing the game where it's just like, my objective is to capture this, okay, why do you want that? What would they do with that? When I look at events like Mordheim 2019, or yeah, and Bill Ford's Mordheim 22, they all had a narrative thread, like the search for the Star Child or the hunt for the Duke. Yeah, and that is definitely the number, as far as putting together a narrative event. That absolutely is key, is having an overall story, because story, yeah, it will not naturally make itself, but you can come up with a theme or a story that you're trying to convey, and it will change depending on the outcome of the players. And the more that they think that they have an impact, the more they will play like I think that they should, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to say how you should or shouldn't play, but if that's the goal, the more that you can separate it's a game from I am in charge of making decisions for these characters, and it's it's up to me to make sure they get through this. as opposed to, yeah, we're here to just kill and steal loot. Um, that makes all the difference in the world, I think. Yeah, grief. Oh, grief. Such long, creepy arms. His legs are not proportionate. They're just very atrophied just from being drugged behind him. Uh, that's good. That's good. Very, very, very unsettling. Alrighty, so from here, where do I want to go with grief? I know I want to go with the head. So fuck it, let's do it. I want to put the bells on there. I've been wanting to do that for a very long time. Gotta make a jester cap. You wanna see it? I love to see it. Sorry, I don't mean to snap right into the mic. I'm really good at snapping though. Sometimes I just like showing off. I used to be really bad at snapping. And I was like, well, I'm gonna get good. So I did. I just practiced a whole lot, like a psycho. And now I can snap really loud. Where are my bells? And my whistles. Where are all my bells and whistles at? Not in here, right? That's jewelry. They are over here, right? I think they are. Those are not bells. These are pins. I need these O-rings. I wonder if we have too many people with game designer brand and maybe they can't turn off the game design part. So that is absolutely a thing. I'm not disparaging that at all. But that's what I mean when there are different people who take different things out of what they consume and what they put out. And it's difficult to try and stay impartial because of how passionate I am about things. It's just like, I don't understand how you are so creative in this manner, but like the moment it becomes a more personal and more detailed thing, they are not as experienced in that. And I think it's just a different mindset entirely. Yeah, that's heavy. Didn't mean to go into that, but that definitely impacts it. But there are absolutely so many people. Gundam Mike is the first one that comes to mind of like, hey, who do I know that loves the crunchiest rule sets? And that cannot keep story in. Like, characters just pour out of him. But he is really big fan of like the crunchiest rules. And just like, man, making sure that there is a rule to handle what you want to do. And that's such an odd combination. I don't know anyone else off the top of my head that I can think of instantly. I'm like, yeah, that guy is able to think of something and then put a hard set rule in place that is not something that inhibits the game. It adds to it. And that's very interesting. It's just a completely different way of thinking because like I straight up, if we're like playing and trying to have fun, my default is almost like, all right, well, we've all played games like this before. Based on the situation, it's probably a 4-up if it's just like average on a 6-sided dice. But then depending on situations, you might be a 3-up or a 2-up if it's something crazy, or a 6 if it's like that's a 1 in a million, man. Like Isaac. Isaac's a very key point there in the Visterian event. When Steve was just like, what's the toughness of frustration? I was like, just roll the dice. And it's just like, his toughness is asterisk. It's undefinable. Like, you will not hurt this thing. But you might get its attention if you crit, which is in the rule set, we use 6s as a crit. Which I really like. I initially thought, I don't know how I feel about that. But man, there is something good about rolling less dice and hoping for a 6. And 1490 Doom has really shown me that in spades. 1490 Doom, they really, by reducing the amount of crazy bullshit that you have to keep track of to only so much, you can put in OP rules and stuff for every single model. Every model can have a that's broken as shit. But in by doing that, it's like, yeah, well, that's balanced. They all have that. Everyone can take the same things. Everyone has access to the same bullshit if they want it. But it, in a weird way, also makes it feel very balanced. And yeah, I just I tip my hat to them on their design. Some of the regions have custom campaigns, and I think they kind of get that narrative play there. But looking through the rules, it's a lot of mechanics as narrative. That's probably so. That would be something interesting to do with the distillery, is having like a ongoing large-scale campaign, something that people can play in, and it's like tracked across like different places. That just kind of hit me like a Eye of Terror campaign. Which was from the 40K 3rd edition, which, fuck me, that was... The Eye of Terror Codex is one of the best things that they ever made as far as GW goes. I love that codex. What the fuck did I get up for? Oh, I'm gonna go look over here for these bells. Ah, piss! Sorry. Shit. Fuck. Ow. I know there's bells over here. I tripped on my hand cart. That's the thing about being not the only artist in the house. You gotta sometimes go look in the art drawer and see, did my bells end up over there? They probably didn't. Hey, there's some googly eyes. I knew they were here. I ain't fooling nobody. Alrighty, there's a cool picture. Here's another cool picture. Huh. And, oh, hey, that's fucking around. Kitties. Why hasn't she finished that? That's a great little painting. Some kitties. Alright, where are these fucking bells? I don't know. I don't even know what to do now. I'm so angry. I'm just kidding. I'm not really. I have no idea where I put them, but they might be in here. Are you in here? You have to tell me legally if you are. No. No? No, those are screws. Jesus. Gibbly cribbly. Is that them? No, those are screws. Man, if I had $1, I would just have $2. You guys would be like, damn, look at all that money. $2 just from finding bells. Okay. Nope. 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 They're not in my spray booth, right? That'd be crazy. That would be a crazy thing to do. Only a crazy person would do that. Piss. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna look in there. I really thought they were in that cabinet. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, my sweets. But I really thought that, hey, I'd do something fun. And we'd go to the bells, which I've been wanting to do for a hot minute. Nope. I don't even know why I thought they'd be in here. What am I doing? You good, bud? Stub a toe? Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I tripped over my hand cart that was kind of hanging out. So these are not bells. Neither are these. I know you're in here. We're gonna look. We're just gonna find them. Miscellaneous soap, unique bits. Nope. Jewels, magnets. Nope. 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 Bells? No. There's no way I don't have them still, right? Hopefully I kept them. They were too big for the Paramore. Aha! Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Ooh, ah. Do you hear those sleigh bells jingling? They're not sleigh bells, it's grief. He's here to tell you some jokes that are all gonna make you sad. Like really, 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 really deeply. On a deep emotional level. Yeah. That's my boy. We're using brass. I don't know if thread will hold that up. It won't to a level that I'm going to be content with. I know that. 24, 26, 24. Yeah, we want 24. We don't want, these are 20. That's too thick. That's too thick, right? Nope. Maybe 20. Maybe 20. We're going to go with 20. Unless it looks too big. Alrighty. So, where does the first one go? It definitely goes around there. And I am firm in my decision. Yeah, I want to go with brass. I think brass will be better. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of have an idea. No, we're going to go with string. We're going to go with string, and we're going to use O-rings where they go into the horns. That's going to look sick. This size? Yeah. Oh boy, I've been waiting to work on Grief's head for so long. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control. I think y'all like it. Don't call it a comeback. Been here for years. Yep, that's good. Right there. That'll be where one of them goes, and I'll green stuff over those little horns. Yeah. Nope. Come here. We're gonna use tweezers. So I really need to order some tweezers that are anti-static. And I know a company that makes some. So I better get on that, I suppose. Because there's nothing like being like, aha, I got it. And then you go to pull your tweezers away and it pulls the part that you were trying to keep. It's just like, man, come on. What are y'all doing? There? Yeah. Okay. And we really, the most important thing with this is trying to get the angle right. That way it reads correctly. So from there, we're probably going to go up here. Just right there. O-rings. I want that at a slight angle. Yeah. Grief, 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 grief. Grief. Yeah, shout out to hand carts, even though it did feel like shit hitting my foot on it. They are a wonderful thing that I'd never really even thought about. Hey, I could probably benefit from owning one of those until helping Johnny all his stuff at the first Adepticon I went to. I cannot stress enough how awful it would have been without one. Wheeling all of that stuff in really was, it sucked with a hand cart. So like carrying it would have just been like, nope, that's not happening. Yeah. That's good. Let me just hold my hand steady. Pro tips. You got a little loose, not steady hand? Use something to steady it. Hey, bada bing, bada boom. What do you know? Waka waka. Everybody loves Father Bear. I do love the Muppets. Quick, what's your favorite Muppet? No wrong answers. I've got a couple favorite Muppets. Dr. Teeth is definitely one of them. And so is Pepe. OG wise though, it's Gonzo. Clearly. Beaker's also great. I'm a big fan of The Muppets Christmas Carol. That's probably my favorite one. Every now and then I like a feel-good movie. People are always shocked to hear that. They just assume that I am a monster all the time. And I will say that I think that's probably because I typically like the most brutal of horror movies, in a sense of I like a horror movie to end with anyone who's left alive being really messed up, because that means that I can believe the story. If everyone just like, man, we were presented with something that you had no hope of beating, but it's like the heroes win the day kind of thing. I don't really get anything out of that, because it's just like, that's just, I don't know. So typically the kind that I really like have a bleak ending. What can you do? Hey, grief. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really watched a Muppet movie. Oh my goodness. Well, awesome. I'm gonna need you to watch at some point. No rush, but I am gonna need you to watch The Muppets Christmas Carol, because it is, oh my goodness, I just glued my hand to my pants and I felt the chemical reaction there. A little bit of hot, like kind of a burn. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. What the heck? What the heck, grief? Do his horns need to be kind of extended? I kind of am getting the vibe that they do. And by his horns, I mean specifically this one. It's kind of flat. I don't know. No. Yeah, no. So awful looking. All right, let's get that epoxy sculpt so we can get the clay where those holes are. Ooh boy, it's nice and frozen already. So we're gonna put in a little bit of hot water. Hot water. Hot wee. So, fun fact. Little tangent here. My friend Matt. You all do not know. I don't think you do. Anywho, he became pretty good of a little cook, a little chef, and so he was working as a sous chef for someone. I don't remember who, but one of the most recent things that he told me, he was like, "Man, I know you're gonna appreciate this." Was his he was walking behind us, his chef, and he was just like, hot water. And his chef turned around, and I guess he misheard him, but he was just like, gosh dang it. Uh, he was like, I'm going to be honest here. He was like, did you just say hot wee? And he was just like, no, I did not. But I'm going to every time from now on. Hot wee. Gosh dang it, YouTube censored your joke. Oh no. Was it a good one? My friend Matt's also the one who, one of my favorite stories I've ever heard of anybody like doing something and then being like, man, I'm glad I didn't get hurt. Can't be a comedian anymore. YouTube too woke or whatever. Aw, sad. Well, I'm curious to hear what it was. YouTube, keep your business out of my comedy. But yeah, he pretty much, he for a while was a bartender, and one day he like left his bar after having a couple drinks after getting off, and he went down the street to another bar, and when he walked in, there were these two guys there, and one of them had a big old handlebar mustache, and at some point he got too rowdy, and the bartender was like, all right, man, you're cut off. And he was just like, what the heck? I really won't let me talk about violence. Man, what the heck? Come on, YouTube. The whole world's violent. But he got a little too rowdy, and the barkeep was like, all right, you're cut off. And one of the guys that was there, like another patron of the bar, was just like, hey, man, I think it's time you should leave. And he said, oh yeah, I think it's time for you to shut up before I slap that mustache right off your face. And I think about that often because of how wild that was. And pretty much they were like, all right, no, you're out. And then he went down like a block to the next bar. And when he went in, as soon as he walked in, and this is him telling me this, so I can only imagine how disconnected the story is. But he walks in, and as soon as he walks in, he makes eye contact with the bartender. And he goes, give me a beer. And the bartender goes, you're cut off. And he goes, shit, and turns around and just walks back out. It's just very, it's like, that's good. I believe every bit of that. Knowing who this person is and how they would say things, it's just like, yep, nope, I absolutely don't question even a little bit of that story's validity. And the story ends essentially with him on his way home the next day, and a cop offering to give him a ride while he's walking down the street. And while they're driving, he's like, oh shit, there's my car. And his cop's like, that's your car? He's like, yeah. And he's like, you didn't remember that you put it there? He's like, nah. And the cop's just like, it's like, what do you can't really, I mean, he's not doing a crime. He doesn't remember where he left his car, though. That's not safe. Different times. Man, I need to put a glove on. Grief. Alrighty, so why am I doing the clay right now? Well, I'm doing that right now because I kind of want, and I know it's going to take a little bit longer than I would like, but I want the spots where these are hooked into the horns to be more sturdy before I start tying anything on these. And they are super glued, but I'm not gonna put all of my ducks in one box. I'm gonna have multiple boxes of ducks. That's another pro tip. Keep your ducks in multiple boxes. On a weird note, I have had ducks outside of my house. They were underneath my neighbor's porch, just being ducks, baby ducks. And we were like, what the heck? And Kelly's sister was just like, I'm pretty sure those are something something tree mallards. And we're just like, okay, I don't think you have any idea what you're talking about. These are clearly ducks just on the ground. Sure enough, no, that's what they were. They were just hanging out, being ducks, not in trees, despite, you know, what science would like you to believe. Explain that to me, Wires. Tell me why ducks, who have supposedly, you know, in their nature to live inside of trees, sometimes aren't in trees. Where's your science now, boys? That's a joke. I can't stress that enough. Even arboreal ducks don't always stay in trees. I really like arboreal creatures. I was talking to Kelly about one of my favorite animals, which is the gharial. Um, and I think the reason that I love it so much is it's just such a, like a dinosaur, like real, like still alive. There's just nothing else like it in the, like the reptile world. But there were a lot of things like it at one point in time. And some of my favorite dinosaurs are in that list. Spinosaurus, Baryonyx, Suchomimus. I love like all those dinosaurs that like very clearly are these huge predators that would live by like water and just eat fish. So they have these very elongated snouts that are just made for catching fish. And it's just really cool that like there's still an animal out there that's just like, yeah, like that. But if it would like walked around on its hind legs sometimes, and was really big, it's just fun. Yeah. We'll put a little bit of epoxy sculpt in there. And a little bit right here. Grief, grief, grief. You gotta have a gesture cap. You don't get to tell no jokes. Uh-huh. I saw that. You moved. You said, I'm glued down. No, I'm not. I'm just kidding. That's what I'm talking about. Don't trust Grief. He does not know what he's talking about. Especially when it comes to his jester cap. It's like, that's my hair. He's just Kevin. Gavin. I didn't know that was a hat. It's not. Grief. It's not. Ooh, I just saw something awful. Oh wait, that's a hat? It's not. Oh god. Grief taking his hat off as part of his jokes. Just the top of his scalp. But I can't stress enough how much I love the statement of, I imagine Grief throws a banana peel and then just drags itself across it. That really is just like, that's spot on. That is a Grief joke. Like anti-humor, and then like the kind of humor that's like really upsetting. It's like, man, that's pretty messed up. Pretty messed up take. Pretty bleak. Grief jokes. And we want to put just a little hole around where that is, so we know that it is bored through the horn and not just kind of held in place. It needs to be very clearly something that was added, not made there. I'm so excited to work on the head. I've been waiting. I've been so patient. I've done such a good job. Such a good job waiting and being patient, which is very hard for me. So this is like a little reward. And that's a handy way to think about it sometimes. You know? Oh boy. Okay. Well, gonna need more clay on that one. Arg. Yeah. Grief, 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 grief. Night, 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 night. Everybody loves a good hash slinging slasher episode. I know I do. Mm-hmm. Man, I don't know what my favorite episode of SpongeBob is now I'm thinking about it. I know that one's definitely up there for Kelly. It is a really good one. I'm gonna have to think about that. Oh, wait, no, I do. It's Midlife Crustacean. That's an easy one. Art thou feeling it now, Mr. Krabs? Bring back my favorite episode. Everyone. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy's not stuck on there at all with that glue, huh? Well, I'd say that's more my fault than your fault, Grief. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Give you guys a little peep. Did you take a break yet today? I did not. I got up and I went to look for the bells and stuff. Eh. So I got up and moved my legs around. I do kind of have to pee though. I'll be right back. Thank you, Possum. I thought, oh yeah, you got up and walked around. You don't need to go to the bathroom. It's just like, those are not the same thing, Eli. You know this. What are you doing? You crazy person. Yeah, I'm really happy with these and how they are turning out. So, I think I have earned a bathroom break. Even if these weren't great, I think I still have earned a bathroom break. So, I'm going to go do that real quick. I'm probably not going to put the screen up just because it'll just be a second. Actually, I'll put the screen up anyway. All right, I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Okay, come on, Grief. Eli, you gotta stop. You gotta go pee. Okay. Putting it down. Putting the Grief down. I'm stepping away from the Grief. Mike's there. Don't go nowhere, Mike. Hey. Oh, yeah, and the BRB. I'll put up my BRB screen. All right, BRB. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. I'm back from the land of urine, where I am king, King Piss. So, grief joke. Grief is King Piss. Get those little pickies in. Bees, 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 bees. It's like, I'm tired of all this piggy stuff. He never actually deals with the toes. He's only just working on the legs. What a rip. Yeah, we don't need the legs to be super detailed yet. Whew. But we do need them to be stuck together, that's for sure. Quit that. Cut it out. Cut it out. No. Not me. Zip Kicker, you've betrayed me. Why, Zip Kicker, why? Oh, to shreds, you say. Fabric, meat, hair. Ooh, meat hair. That's gross. That's an idea. There's either a really big truck going down my street or one of my kids is just being crazy upstairs. I can't stress enough how much it could be either or. Just running around, being little fluffy goofballs. We've been discussing, we probably need to get a tower over here in the shop for some fur babies. I feel like it would make them more prone to hanging out and not just screaming at me in the floor. They could just climb up on a tower and you can see how great they are, and they'd be like, okay, I'm getting the attention I deserve, finally. But yeah, I'm thinking about it, and I really like the idea of doing like an online kind of campaign. Very Eye of Terror-esque. I really like that idea. Alrighty. Let's start tying. Sorry, epoxy sculpt. Back in the freezer. Where'd that little bag go? What the heck? Oh well, I'll find another one. We ain't got time for that. Ain't nobody got. Oh wait, no. I think I'll just put it in another bag that's already in the freezer. Hey, there we go. Yep. All right. Sorry. A little scatterbrained this morning, but still made progress. Alrighty. So now it's time to tie some bells. Boo boo ba doo boo boo. Boo doo doo doo. Oh grief. Oh you. Get in there. bell, jingle bell. Hanging from a really creepy jester crown. That's grief's. Grief, grief, grief. That's how grief rolls. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Here. Nova Tim. Nova Tim? Nova Tim. Good morning, Atri. Oh no! I dropped my bell. Oh, are you at Nova? Man, I'm jelly. Is that Nova time? But it's Nova time. I'm jealous. I would like to go to Nova. We'll be there next year for sure. Probably with a bunch of boards or other things that I'll be doing. Well, just in the air right now. Gonna go to the actual con this afternoon. Hell yeah. Oh, that sounds so fun. If you see Johnny or the Wires or anyone else, let them know I said hi and tell them hi. I say that Johnny boy definitely will have fun stuff with him, I'm sure. I think he's bringing stuff. Yeah, he's bringing stuff. I remember he's bringing some stuff. Get in there. Aha! Yay! Grief. The who's and the whats. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, Johnny, Witchhammer Studio. He has really great work. He is the one that built the lighthouse for Visterion. Built a lot of demons. And then, of course, the Wires. I know Eric. I think Eric will be there. And he is wonderful. But yeah, if you find the Grimdark corner, or if there is a Grimdark area, they are wonderful people to talk to. Also, Cody and Eric at 1490 Doom are wonderful. You should talk to them and tell them hi. And be like, oh, hi. I think them Trench Crusades boys is going to be there too. Tell them, why won't you talk to me? Ask him, are you all ready to be friends with Eli yet? I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Well, I mean, you can if you want to. I have you have free will. Man, who would have thought that tying these little knots was going to be a little tricky? I guess everybody but me, huh? Mr. Crusade, give Eli money. Give Eli money so we will give you more money. I can't stress. It's not that I want them to like, oh, hey, we like your stuff. I know that I can help them get lots of more stuff and more people to look at their game because hot damn, like I can't not think about that stuff, and it's taken so much effort to not work on Trench Crusade stuff because it's just so my jam. But I'm like, you gotta hold back, Eli. And then I got a commission for a communicant, which I'm gonna start working on today. So I'm not gonna be holding back no mo. Not no mo. Come on, I thought I had it. Thought I'd got this down to a science. crazy science, but a science nonetheless. Aha! Mr. Crusade. Yeah, let me talk to Mr. Crusade. I got some things I want to tell him. I love your game. I love your game. It's good. Yes. Haha. I love the little jingling. Mr. Crusade. Trench, can I call you Trench? Trench, my friend Eli wants free stuff. I don't even want free stuff. I just want them to be like, hey, come work for us. You like to make fucked up stuff, right? And I'm like, honey, let me tell you. Not only do I like it, I can't help it. It just happens. It just comes out of me. And I think that they're the only company that could really bank off that in spades. Also, if Alexander's there, tell him I said hi. But I don't think Alexander's going to be there. I think it's probably Tomas and Mike. But if he is, I'm going to be jealous that you get to meet him in person. Say, we have talked online for decade plus, about beer and all kinds of things, but I have not had the pleasure of meeting him in person. Trench, my friend Eli's mom said he's been making fucked up stuff since he was a baby. That is factually true. That's not even... Yeah. Do you think there's a Mrs. Crusade? It's me. I'm Mrs. Crusade. They just need to put a fucking ring on it. Oh, God. I don't want to be that. I want to be that person. Why won't he propose to me? Well, honey, because you're kind of crazy. Everyone can tell you're crazy except for you. What does that even mean? Is there a Mrs. Crusade? His mom said he's been making fucked up stuff since he was a baby. I thought that it was a result of being sheltered, but no, he was sheltered because that stuff it came out like that. He came out like that, and it was just like, what do you do other than be like, don't look at that kind of stuff. What are you doing? I don't know. Who knows? Do you think there's a Mrs. Crusade? That's so good. Come on. Man, I kind of got these little knots locked down now. Mr. Crusade was my father. Mr. Crusade was my father. Call me Trench. I do things a little bit differently. You know, we're not gonna make the same mistakes. I'm not saying that they made any mistakes. I actually really applaud how the only thing that I was upset about, they handled very, very well. So well that I did a hard 180. Yeah. Which I got hot because we cannot afford to have people trying to push Nazi shit in our community. So, and yeah, they were not at all. I was not in a mental place to look into it at the time. I was just like, what the fuck? So, but no, they handled it very, very well. And I would love to work with them. Oh, fuck. Also, if Andy is there, you need to meet Andy. Andy Chambers. He's pretty much Mr. fucking Warhammer. He invented Tyranids. Like, but he works for Trench Crusade now. And that is someone I would be very, very, very jealous that you get to meet. If he is there. So those are the people that I would like. You got to meet them if they're there. Honestly, literally everybody who works in the Trench Crusade team, go meet them if you haven't met them yet, because they are people that have been heavily impacting and influencing the tabletop gaming industry for decades. I put forth Trent Crusade as their James Workshop invented Tyranids. He goes, watched Alien. No. It's different. It's different. I love both. They are different. But I do get the they do, especially. I think it actually is over here. This is one of the worst models Games Workshop ever made, and I've hacked it to shit. But the 3rd edition Hive Tyrant, the Metal Hive Tyrant, and I started to try and do a good conversion with it to try and make it into something I didn't hate, and I stopped because I ran out of steam. But it's one of the few models that I know Nick, Modern Synthesist, when I was like, man, I'm trying to convert this into something real grisly and cool. Do you have any recommendations? And he was like, yeah, throw it in the trash. Because it is it just looks so much like the Alien Queen, like unabashedly, just like, yep, that's the Alien Queen. Whereas the design for, I think that guy needs a little more super glue on here because he looks a little too floppy, and I'm afraid that's going to pull down when I pull on this, but maybe not. Let's see. Oh. Huzzah. No! It did it. It did the thing. Piss. Oh, is this the one with the super big head? Yes, the super long head that, like, it's the only one that, like, all the other Hive Tyrants kind of have a... Well, they went back, so essentially, like, yeah, it was not very positively received because it was... Yeah, Zerg, he was watching it. He also, I'm pretty sure, had a good hand in that. And I know that he worked on the, I think, Dropship or Starship Troopers on their miniatures for the bugs. He's a bug guy. He is the alien bug guy. But also a ton of stuff for Eldar, a ton of stuff. Just a lot of really, really, really big stuff from Games Workshop. He had a hand in a lot of my favorite stuff. So would definitely recommend if he's there, just saying hi. And not everybody likes that kind of stuff, I realize. I love meeting the people like that. I do love alien bugs. One day GW will release wild, warm like Gene Stealers and Dinosaur Tyranids again. Just got to get to the bottom of the nostalgia barrel. Yeah, that is true. We'll release the boob worms, the Nash mount. They won't. Yeah. I don't know. They might do like a metal, like, oh, hey, you can order directly from us. And it'll be like metal or fine cast or whatever. I could see them doing that. I think they do that. Do they do that? Do they mess with anything metal, or is it all plastic now? I've wondered that whenever I see anything like, oh, it's from the vault. Which, man, talk about things that Games Workshop won't make. There are some things in their past that it's just like, yeah, they won't make that ever again. But they made some pretty ridiculous shit in the past. Old Fabius, old Lucius, old Noise Marines made to order in metal like in 2 weeks. Okay, yeah, they were doing a made to order metal for old UC. That is what I was thinking of. I was thinking that they did metal pours, which I gotta say, my appreciation of metal miniatures has grown since talking to someone who worked in that field, and also just from a history standpoint of our hobby. I'm not one to get nostalgic over things that, like, I don't have. Oh my gosh, this is, yeah, that's great. Oh, grief. Can we get a little jingle? Yeah. That's what you hear after he tells a really funny joke and then just kind of slinkers around across the floor. Jingling-ling-ling-ling. Yeah, these are real jingle bells. I don't know how long it's going to take. Did it censor me? My boob comment? No, one day GW will re-release the Boobworm Slanesh mount. They won't. That's the last one I saw about boobs. Uh, like the old Slanesh demonettes, which I have mixed feelings about. I like them more than the new ones, but not that I really like them. They're I don't think they neither of them is like how I always think of Slanesh. They're too one is too only sexual, and that's all it's really got going for it, and then the other is not sexual really at all, in my opinion. Um, but I agree. YouTube do love to do a censorship. I need one of these demonettes. I want to design the next demonettes. Yeah, I made cat boys, which I don't know if I've ever shown them. Those are my demonettes. These are the lesser demons of the Child Inverted. My cat boys, which they have seen better days, for sure. I have so many ideas of making them truly fucked up. Yeah, no, for sure. There's so many. There's so many good ideas. I would love to see them. You should do it. Bring forth the ideas. But yeah, these are cat boys. They are my demonettes. I wanted to tie them to the other demons of Slanesh, which all have 6 limbs. However, I really wanted to draw the difference between almost like the hierarchy of demons, and having the lessers have one set of their arms brutalized, which that is I don't mean removed, I mean like completely like smashed, to where they're not functional, and not in a way that is like any care was taken to. It's more of just like, yep, get those off there. It's just like a slave cast kind of thing, and that absolutely is a reference. The idea came to me from Destiny, which a lot of people might be surprised because like Destiny had story, and it's just like, yeah, you had to look for it though. Which is why that, like, you know, FromSoft kind of storytelling doesn't really work in a first-person shooter. Just know your audience. But yeah, the dregs, because the fallen have, you know, a similar set of limbs. That's what the dregs, they don't have as many limbs because they've been stubbed, to like keep them in place as like the slave cast for the fallen. It's fucked up, and I was like, man, that's a really gnarly idea that would be very Slaneshi, or any kind of demon that like subjugation is a very big theme of. I don't think I've got time really to keep tying little bells on here. It's 10:11. I need to stop and get some breakfast. No, I would love to see your take on some demonettes. I'd love to see anyone's take on demons. I don't know. There's just so much room to like make them unique, and really bring character to demons. Destiny's problem was the story was all in the app, not even in game. Yeah, yeah. It does have one of the best lines of dialogue, however, and that wizard came from the moon. It's just like, I just remember the first time I heard that, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's, let me find and forward you my old post. Hell yeah. I'm down. But yeah, no, that wizard came from the moon, and it's just like, no context, but it's given like as there should be. It's just like, you guys forgot to tell me anything about wizards, anything about the moon. What is that thing? Yeah. Sometimes you do have to put story on a little bit of rails. And that's also just, you know, respecting your public, your viewers, the people that are going to consume your media. They need to have some idea in where to go with it. I've learned that lesson. I'm not dunking on that from like, oh, you should have known better. Nope. The very first Dark Heresy campaign, I fully expected my players to play like an Inquisitor and actually do detective stuff. Spoiler alert, they did not. And that is why there is one less hive on Gaius Prime in Sector Totratus. It's gone. It's gone because they did not do a good job investigating. And despite realizing the flaws in my system, the game still has consequences, which means there's one less Hive City. Shit got ugly. I spent too much time burning gang members, burning random gang members in their like hideout, interrogating him, trying to find out things that he just didn't know. Classic. Sent. Also got to go shower, so I'll be back later. All right, I think I'm actually bring back Janklebot. Exactly. I think I am gonna stop here. I need to get on to my other commission, get that started. I want to make some good progress on that today, and I got to eat some cereal. So, but thank you guys so much for hanging out and keeping me company and talking. Can't stress enough. It means the world that you all spend your time with me. So, Possum, Atri, Roz, Gardner. I think that's everybody that was in the stream. Yes. Shankly. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I truly appreciate it. Be good to yourselves and to each other. Sit pretty and take care. I will see you guys later. If you're at Nova, have fun. Go meet people. Yeah, have a good time. Bye, guys. Thanks again.